Meet Bob Diszler, Republican candidate for Hamilton Township Council.
Lifelong Hamilton resident. Grew up in town, went to Hamilton schools, graduated from Steinert High School. Then I was a Trenton State College graduate. And then I was a member of the Hamilton Police Force for 26 years before I retired in 2019. Currently, I work at the Central Jersey Police and Fire Federal Credit Union, and I'm running for council with two other people on my party, Joe DeMarco and James Buzan.
Why are you running for council?
Kind of tired of what's going on in the country, in the state, in the municipality for sure. And I think the only way to get it done is to throw your name, get involved. I've always paid attention to local politics, but I've never been this closely involved in them. So I decided to throw my name into the ring, and hopefully we can get a win.
What are some of the issues that Hamilton voters are facing and the reason that you're running for this?
I would think the biggest issue in most municipal elections is property taxes. I received a letter in the mail along with my property tax bill, I guess a month or two ago. Said I got a flat tax, which is pretty much untrue because with the fire districts being consolidated, my taxes went up about $700. And it was going. They tell me it's to balance out the fire districts. Mine was a low fire tax district to balance out with the higher fire tax districts. So to me, that was a lie. My taxes went up a lot, along with most of my neighbors in my neighborhood.
What do you intend to do about it?
Well, first of all, we have to look at what happened with the consolidation. Was we were promised $2 million from Governor Murphy for consolidation. I think that money could have been used to offset some of those increases. I also wonder where all the money that went from each fire district, had a budget, and I would assume most of them had surplus money. Where'd that money go? I'd like to know, because if you try to find out, it's almost impossible.
What are some of the other issues Hamilton voters are facing?
Just a lack of transparency is a big one. Like I said, I've been trying to find where that fire district money's gone. With budget issues, and another big one is the warehouses. Warehouse is a big issue right now in town. I know they just denied the warehouse on Sloan, which used to be the former Congolium. The problem is that's zoned for warehouse, I believe, and I think it's ultimately going to get passed by a court, and so I don't know what they're doing. They're going to end up costing taxpayers money and legal fees, and I'm not sure, if that's a great idea. But the warehouse is a big one. There's that huge warehouse now, the Amazon warehouse on 130, and I think that the township administration, the council, they have to look at the master plan. Master plan hasn't been looked at in probably 10 years. And I think it's time, to look at it and solidify it. And, before we start building all these warehouses all around town that the roads, frankly, just can't support a lot of them.
How much of an issue is development in the township?
Development always a big issue. There's not a lot of land. We're landlocked in Hamilton. There's not a lot of land left to build on. I think smart development, smart for the taxpayer, would be, what's needed for the town for sure. But as always, development is always a huge issue, especially in a town like this where there's not a lot of land, and then you have, land out on the, the eastern side of town, which is a lot of farmland, and you'd like to preserve a lot of that. You don't want to be building solar farms and, townhouses and all kinds of stuff out there. You'd like to preserve some of that land for sure.
Is aging infrastructure a concern in the township?
I believe so. I believe some of it's been addressed in the past with the sewer system. They've been trying to make strides with that, with the sewers. Roads in a lot of places are bad. Potholes, some dangerous roads that need to be fixed, I'm sure. But as for other, bridges and stuff like that, I'm not so sure about. Locally, definitely roads is a big concern.
What services, whether it be public service or recreation or things like that, would you like to be involved with and working on?
Well, I think I have a very good knowledge of public safety. Was a retired police officer. I'm from Hamilton, lived here my whole life. I know the problems that the town faces in public safety. I know the neighborhoods. I worked in all of them. Still live here. And I think that would be a good concern of mine. I think I would have some expertise in helping further public safety, whether it be with the new fire department and the police department. I think I could really help with some insight toward public safety. Recreation is another a big one. I use the recreation all the time. I'm a pickleball player. I use the court. I'm signed up. I got my pickleball license. I really enjoy it. And if you go to Hamilton on a Thursday night or Sunday afternoon, those courts are packed with people, and it's great to see. It's what we need, especially during this pandemic. People getting outside, getting some fresh air, getting some sun. I think it's really important for people's health. So it's another thing that would, that we need to spend some money on.
Does being a retired police officer offer any advantages to being on council?
I believe it does. I have a good insight. I used to be union president when I was in the police force, PBA 66. I was the president of the union. I used to go to every council meeting. I did that for about 4 years. So I have a pretty good knowledge of what goes on in town, the health care provided to township employees. I had a pretty good understanding of that, and some of the bills that the township receives and pays all the time. So I had a pretty good working knowledge of that, and I've been paying attention to it ever since I was going to those meetings.
Ultimately, what is it you would like the voters of Hamilton Township to know about you?
I'm not a politician. That'd be a big one. I'm not a politician. I have no special interest whatsoever. There's no money in my pocket from any special interest or anything. We're just three guys that all had the same feeling, that we were kind of disgusted what was going on about the lack of transparency and some of the things that goes on, property taxes going through the roof, and we decided to get involved. And I think three good guys, and none of us are politicians. We're kind of running this campaign all on our own. We really haven't had much help. We're running under the Republican ticket, but I would say we're more independent because we haven't had much help from our party. I think it would be really good to see a couple wins and start to change around the 5-0 vote that's on the council, because whatever the mayor wants or whatever the agenda that's put forth is just voted on 5-0. There's never any nays on the council, and I don't think that's representative government. I think, you need a little differing of opinions. I think you need to be able to work together, absolutely. People, we need to get along. We need to work together, but I think, we need to have different views, and we have to come in the middle somewhere and figure it out.
So what's your vision for Hamilton?
Lower property taxes for sure. I think they're carrying a surplus right now. I want to say it's $9 million, $10 million. I don't know why they're carrying it that much. My feeling is it's a gimmick for when the mayor runs for re-election. They'll give that money back as a property tax decrease at that point. Why not give it back now? I'm not sure why they didn't do that. But once again, property tax is the biggest one. We need to stop spending, money that we don't have, for sure. That would be part of my vision.
On November 2nd, remember to vote for Bob Diszler, Republican candidate for Hamilton Township Council.